Hi everyone, Adam Desjardins here from CultureSource. We just started broadcasting, so we're gonna let people roll in here as if this was a physical space and people were walking in the door. But it's not. So we're just gonna let people keep popping up. And in about 1 to 2 minutes, we'll get started. Okay, because it's a tight schedule, we got a lot of people on screen here and an international panel nonetheless, people calling in from all over the world. We're gonna get rolling. So my name is Adam Desjardins. I work for CultureSource. CultureSource is a regional arts service organization based in Southeast Michigan. We're headquartered in Detroit, but work with 175 plus arts organizations in Southeast Michigan. Today, you are here for International Labors, Public Arts Pivots Throughout North America. This is a panel featuring some really interesting folks from Canada, Mexico, and the US. And we're really delighted to be able to put this on with Quartier de Spectacle, Festival de Mayo in Guadalajara, Sidewalk Detroit, and then also with Mural Arts Philadelphia too. So a little bit about what you are here for. We are hosting a public art symposium called Watch This Space. Watch This Space is a term that often means stay tuned or paid attention. And we chose this title basically thinking about the future of public art and art in public space is very much a stay tuned. And also we've all been staying tuned to the public spaces in our neighborhoods and our communities and our cities, quite literally watching them as we go on walks, as we are out for protests, as we are basically living in our built environment at all times. So this is a part of a public art symposium that we are doing starting today, right now, until Friday, with some really great online programs that we have. Some of those programs are this program today, right now, and then also a series of How Do I Do That programs. These are 30-minute conversations that we're doing tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday with some really interesting folks from throughout the nation, both locally here in Michigan, and then also, from folks in New York and Detroit, Ann Arbor, really looking at different sort of conversations, whether, it's about rural art and public art in rural spaces, or whether it's, how to do a public program that basically is a community design mural. So really exciting, quick bite programs that aren't, full of Zoom burnout. And then Friday, it ends with another panel, which is a conversation with Jane Golden, the founder of Mural Arts Philadelphia. She's really phenomenal and just great to hear from. And I think it'll be a really interesting conversation about monuments, murals, and movements that matter, and kind of how art in public space is really a vehicle for a lot of other conversations that happen in societal issues, and really representative of our work. All of this is a part of Detroit's Month of Design. Detroit is the only UNESCO city of design in the United States. Luckily, Montreal is one too, so we're lucky to have Montreal here with us. And then also so is Mexico City, which is not Guadalajara, but we're still happy to have Mexico participate today too. So check out Design Corps' schedule for Detroit Month of Design, as they have an awesome suite of programs this month too. Our symposium partners are the Live 6 Alliance, which is a community development organization based in Detroit, and Mural Arts Philadelphia. We're part of the Mural Arts Institute, joined here by their director, Netanel, who's going to be moderating the conversation today. And so this symposium is designed and in partnership with them. Live 6 is also going to be working on a guide for how their community design mural worked, and we'll also be participating in a program come Thursday. So check that out too. Lastly, thank you to our partners, for which there are many, and we are really gracious and thankful for their support. And then lastly, thank you to our program partner, Quebec, the Department of Government Affairs in Quebec, in Chicago. And we are joined by Martine and Karith, who are our wonderful co-conspirators and partners on this program. And I'm gonna pass the mic over to them to just welcome everybody, and then they will pass it over to Netanel to get things going. Thanks.
Thank you, Adam. Bonjour, everyone. My name is Karith Iverson. I serve as the Public and Governmental Affairs Attaché for the Quebec Government Office in Chicago. And thank you for the kind introduction. We are very humbled to be a partner for this year's edition of CultureSource's Art and Public Spaces Symposium. Omari and Adam and the team have worked tirelessly to provide us a space. We are all trying to find ways to provide access and opportunity for art in all forms, and I appreciate your dedication to this work and openness to explore working with new partners like our office and Quartier des Spectacles. Our office is committed to providing programs and resources to our partners here in the Midwest, so that they can still continue to bring in new art from Quebec for our communities here. We are hoping today that this conversation will highlight leadership across North America on reinventing public space and staying committed to safely engaging communities in the arts. I'd like to turn it over now to our head of our office, Martine Hébert, for a few additional comments before we start the program. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Kérit. Bonjour tout le monde. Hi, everybody. My name is Martine Hébert, and I'm the Quebec government delegate in the Chicago office. I want to start by congratulating Omari and Adam and the team for their efforts in putting together this virtual symposium. You know, the Quebec government is really committed to supporting initiatives such as this that promote and encourage art on both sides of the border, including, of course, our friends from Mexico. I am always impressed also by the thoughtfulness and creativity that continues to grow despite what we are going through right now and the present situation. It is truly a pleasure, you know, to provide opportunities for innovative organizations like Montreal's Quartier des Spectacles that I welcome to highlight the communities they serve. Thank you very much, Kérit, also for your dedication to this wonderful project. Kérit is one of our best assets at the delegation, so I'm very proud and thank you very much for organizing this event. And I also want to thank the team at CultureSource and our friends at Sidewalk Detroit, Mural Arts Philadelphia, and Festival de Mayo for what will be, I'm sure, a really fruitful and robust discussion. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Karith and Martine. Thanks so much, and thanks so much for your help and collaboration on this panel. And with that said, let's get it started. So I'm going to pass it over to Netanel Portier, joining us from Philadelphia. She's the director of the Mural Arts Institute, which is a part of Mural Arts Philadelphia. So Netanel, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Again, thank you CultureSource for putting this conversation together. We're really honored to be a part of this and facilitating these wonderful folks here and organizations in this conversation today. Also, the rest of the programs happening this week seem really incredible as well. So I hope folks joining us today will continue to follow those in the coming days. So again, my name is Netanel Portier. I'm director of the Mural Arts Institute. The Institute is dedicated to advancing and supporting participatory public art practices, not just in Philadelphia, but elsewhere, and research in those practices. And a lot of our work is really based on collaborative learning, convenings, and creating networks. So this is a perfect opportunity for this to happen. The way we have structured our time together today is we're really looking to learn from the organizations here with us. We've asked them a couple questions. We've asked them to share about their work, share how their communities and how their organizations have been impacted by COVID, by the pandemic. What does that mean for their public spaces? And give us an example of a way they've pivoted or way they've maybe seen opportunity in these difficulties in creating work during this period right now. After their short presentations, I'm going to have a couple of questions to ask the group, and I might let people jump in. I might have some more pointed questions based on the presentations. And then after that, we obviously want to make sure we have space and give time to answer some questions from the audience. And Adam will help me in pulling out some of those questions from the chat box and in other ways. So that being said, I really want to leave enough space for our presenters to share their work. We're going to start with a presentation by Sidewalk Detroit. I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you so much. And hello, my name is Augusta Morrison. I'm with Sidewalk Detroit, and we also have...
Hi, I'm Kessiana Winova. I'm also with Sidewalk Detroit.
So we are really excited to be here today, and thank you so much, CultureSource, for organizing this. And being on an international panel is extremely exciting because I feel like we get to almost travel to other spaces in a time where we really can't be doing a lot of traveling. So let's get into it. I'm going to share. Okay, so Sidewalk Detroit, who are we? We aim to advance public, oh, let me get this full screen. Can everyone see okay? Awesome, cool. We aim to advance public life and strong social infrastructure through the lens of arts, culture, collaborative design, and deep engagement with residents. So what does this mean exactly? We have a festival called Sidewalk Festival, an annual festival that takes place in Old Redford, started in 2012. Installation, performance, it is a total streetscape where we completely redesign kind of a few city blocks. And unfortunately, we couldn't do that this year. So we had to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, with all of our programming. We're also partners for a park called Eliza Howell Park, which we've been working with and are currently developing a 5-year infrastructure plan. And we're starting construction in a few weeks, which is really exciting. So we work with residents to really understand what kind of programming that they want there and partnering with other organizations as well. And that kind of partnership with other organizations, we special curate events and programming kind of throughout the city of Detroit. One of the ways that we had to respond and kind of alter all of our programming this year was a major shift, but we really kind of took time to reflect and think about the needs of the community. That's one of our kind of public engagement facets, and that's Kessa's position is kind of our public engagement coordinator, which do you want to talk a few minutes about?
Yeah, so our public and community engagement consulting practice is guided by our core values, which Augusta spoke to a little bit about just now. They are reactivating over rebuilding spaces, increasing livability in our neighborhoods and communities, ensuring that equity and inclusion are at the center of everything that we do, and creating creative experiences and excellent experiences. And so through our current community and public engagement practice, we are building and nurturing existing relationships within our community with members to ensure that they're at the forefront of any discussion or planning that's happening to reimagine our communities through the lens of arts and culture. And so we're additionally working with community members and city planners, organizations, and architects to develop frameworks for reactivating spaces just throughout a variety of spaces in the city of Detroit. These frameworks usually serve as a record of what community members want and don't want concerning public art. And it acts as a set of principles and recommendations, guidelines, and processes for community members and city officials to follow in the process.
Awesome, thanks, Cass. I do want to show a quick video of one of the programs that one of the artists we were able to commission. We kind of had two big arts programming, I guess, facets that were kind of had started really early on in early April. We kind of switched gears quickly and I think thoughtfully. So I want to do a quick video because it's kind of fun. This is an artist called, her name is Super Cool Wicked, and we did a kind of like a call-in where people could call in and request songs. So Super Cool Wicked is an artist in Detroit, and I'm just gonna play this for you. Can you hear okay? No? No hearing? Okay, well, I'm gonna send the link out so everyone can check this out because it is really fun, and we really wanted to make sure that with COVID and the pandemic, artists oftentimes are contract workers, they're labor workers, and people were losing work right and left. So we needed to figure out a way to continue supporting artists and uplifting artists in Detroit. Another art project that we did this summer was with Kresge Arts in Detroit. We were asked to curate a series of programs that were in conjunction with the Kresge Artist Fellows and the Gilda Award recipients. This is a yearly grant award that, you know, is a good amount of money. So these artists are, some of them are emerging and some of them are more established. We created a 4-part social distance concert series, and on a trailer bed we put the musicians on. So we went to 4 different neighborhoods, and each neighborhood we just kind of did flyering. So it just was really directed for that block, and we made sure to let neighbors know that it was going to be safe, it wasn't going to be a lot of people, so that they could feel comfortable. We also, in this, asked the artists 2 questions. What is the future that you envision? I'm gonna reverse. What is the story of Detroit artists today, and what is the future you envision? So artists are really able to kind of reflect and think about what is going on now, and what is, you know, what are our hopes for the future? We feel, I feel, and I think as an organization, that artists are really the catalyst of, you know, I guess our ways of really seeing and thinking, and artists are leaders, and they're the people that we want us to kind of guide our visions. So we need to listen and support our artists. We had this one piece called Reflect Black Times by an emerging dancer, Marseille Mitchell, with the video by Julia Yesbick. This was a beautiful 20-minute piece with excerpts from Nina Simone and original poetry, and another really beautiful film. All of these films you can view online on our website, on YouTube and Vimeo. This one's called Quarantine Chronicles, thinking about our daily life in the pandemic, and, you know, a lot of the things that we can all relate to. So this was really interesting and beautiful to see through the perspective of a movement dancer. And it was, yeah, I guess a really unique experience to be working with artists and in conversation through panels and artist-led discussions. So we were very much, I feel like, a platform for a lot of artists to continue to explore and express during extremely challenging times and just process together. If you're not processing, it's like how we're not really able to move forward. In a nutshell. So that's a Sidewalk.
Thank you so much, Augusta and Cassiana from Sidewalk Detroit. I'm going to pass the mic on to Quartier des Spectacles, to Guillaume.
Hello, hi everybody, bonjour. I'm very happy to be with you today. My name is Guillaume, and thanks for you, Alan, Netanel, and CultureSource to welcome us, and to my fellow partners from the delegation of Quebec. I'm Guillaume Agnorté. I'm working mainly on international development for the Quartier des Spectacles partnership. I will share my screen now in order to explain you what we do. So I guess you should be able to see it right now. Is that correct? Good. So the Quartier des Spectacles is located in the eastern part of downtown Montreal, between the business district and the Old Montreal, which are the most popular tourist destinations of the city. So thanks to this unique location, the Quartier des Spectacles is crossed by thousands of people every day, such as residents, workers, students, and many visitors all the year long. Give me 1 minute, okay. The Quartier des Spectacles covers half a square miles, and it offers a significant number of indoor and outdoor events during the year, with 80 venues, including 30 theaters and concert halls. So just to give you an idea of the cultural vitality and the economic weight of the district, the Quartier des Spectacles represent 25% of all the tickets sold in the province of Quebec when we're talking about culture venues. And the Quartier des Spectacles is also very well known for these activity festivals. There is 40 festivals who take place and attract millions of locals and visitors from everywhere. And most of the public events are playing during summer from early June to August, sometimes more than one at a time. So it's huge. So you can therefore imagine the immense collapse that the pandemic has represented for all the events, festivals, cultural organizations, located in this area, and we have to cancel all the events scheduled in this summer and probably for the rest of the year. And the immediate shutdown of all activities for the partnerships to review the way we were going to animate public spaces during the summer, but also to take time to reassess more generally how we should involve artists, creators, and cultural partners in the animation of open and urban spaces in a COVID-19 mode. So to do so, the partnership has set up an alternative programming project which will integrate elements from various artistic disciplines and who have been built with local artists, partners, festivals, and cultural institutions. So the approach that we have set up is scalable and modulated according to the deconfinement measures implemented by the government. So the first stage was linked to the reopening of non-essential businesses, but in a context where public gathering was still prohibited and the measures remained strict. So during this stage, we focused on starting the fountains in squares, installing outdoor furniture, greening public spaces, setting up picnic tables in a linear fashion to guarantee the physical distance. The second steps during the summer was implemented when more flexible measures and the possibility of meeting again was introduced. So during this period, public squares and open spaces of the district has been inhabited by interactive and participative elements or live performance in a simpler way while respecting physical distance and all other directives of public health. So the goal was to present intimate, flexible, easily achievable performance such as outdoor film projections and giant games, for instance. We also organized pop-up activities to stimulate the return of citizens and the reappropriation of space by them. So to do so, we involve our creative and artistic communities, and we have set up two types of collaborations and calls for projects. The first, by proposing to organizations and cultural venues located into the Quartier des Spectacles to deploy ephemeral outdoor performances by integrating elements from their respective artistic disciplines. And the second initiative was more in touch with the artists and creators who collaborate with the Quartier des Spectacles by creating and producing artistic, participative, or contemplative works and urban furniture. So the following slide are showing you some of the initiatives that has been enabled to the Quartier des Spectacles and downtown during the summer. So first, we have set several public temporary terraces on the area. So the installations were created by Montreal designers to encourage the consumption of meals from local businesses. So during this period, alcohol beverage was allowed from noon to 11 p.m. We also designed many rest stops on the territory created by artists and creators from Montreal and implemented into iconic places of the Quartier des Spectacles and downtown. We also have some ambulatory and animations every weekend. So musicians, dancers, actors, street artists, circus artists, and improvisers animated the public spaces in the most popular streets. it's important to understand that those performances took place spontaneously and were not announced in advance on a public mode. So the idea was to make it possible to animate the territory without causing large gatherings at the same place at the same moment. So in total, there were 30 venues with more than 280 performances hosted by 575 artists who took place in downtown in the Quartier des Spectacles this summer. So it was so helpful for the Montrealers and the public to come back while there were many measures of constraints and social distancing imposed by sanitary rules during this summer. So that's basically what we've done during this pandemic crisis, and we will be continued on this winter to do some initiatives that can provide things for the people out there.
Thank you, Guillaume. Thank you very much. I'm going to pass the mic now to Agustina from Festival de Mayo.
Hi, thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Agustin Servin from the Festival Cultural de Mayo. I'm the communications coordinator, and I'm today participating on this panel on behalf of our general director, which he was unable to participate today, but he really wanted to share some words, which I am gonna share with you, and hopefully you can get to see what we do and what is our work. So Festival Cultural de Mayo, it's a multidisciplinary event that happens mainly in the city of Guadalajara and other cities of the state of Jalisco, Mexico. With the involvement of the public and private sector, the festival has sought to stimulate leisure, recreation, and cultural exchange, presenting in its programming the finest artistic expressions with a high level of excellence between different countries and the state of Jalisco. I'm gonna share with you a little chart just so you can see in 23 years what we have done. So in the first edition of the festival was in 1998. Ever since then, we have the participation of 20 guests of honor, such as Hungary, Poland, Austria, Spain, Mexico, Germany, Japan, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, the USA, Quebec, France, the state of California from the USA as well, United Kingdom, Finland, Norway, Holland, Sweden, and Australia. We have presented 1,379 activities. We have had the participation of 7,797 artists. Within these activities, you can find like opera production, dance performances, exhibitions, art exhibitions, orchestras invited from around the world, musicians, soloist musicians also from around the world, electronic music concerts. We have premiered over, 178 either works or artists within Latin America, Mexico, or Jalisco. All this has benefited an audience of over 3.5 million people, and we have had activities on 187 venues in the state of Jalisco. So it is like a short brief about the festival, and I'm gonna show you a little something about this year's festival, because of course we had to improvise something. This is like a little spot. So this year we had to react to the conditions that were occurring. So we detected in advance that we had to take certain measures to be able to offer people new high quality activities and cultural content to contribute to a state of tranquility, joy, and the encouragement of arts. We reinvented the edition that we had planned for 3 years in advance for this year, 2020, and migrated it to a digital platform, offering the transmission of 41 hours of content produced exclusively for this edition Also, the retransmission of 40 hours of digital material from previous editions of the festival. During 24 days of broadcast, we were able to reach an audience of 43,374 people, promoting a consumption of artistic content by companies and artists in the state of Jalisco mainly. In this edition of the festival, in which Beethoven's 250th anniversary was celebrated, thanks to the will of local artists, the pianist Lear Williams from the United Kingdom, the company Capublic, and the Alan Lake Factory from Quebec, and the support from the government of the state of Jalisco and some sponsors who continue despite the pandemic, we managed to get ahead with this challenge. We were very proud that the cycle of the 32 Beethoven sonatas was the first to be executed worldwide, and we achieved not only the mentions of the main newspapers in Mexico, but of the newspapers in the United Kingdom, such as The Guardian, The Observer, The Independent, as well as mentions in Classical Rave and the Arts Desk. And that's basically what Festival de Mayo is about.
Thank you, Augustine. Thank you all. I have three key questions that I want to pose to the full group. And this first one, I hope that everyone can take a moment to respond to. So I'm certain in adapting your work, the work that you're usually planning ahead of time on producing, and the communities you're supporting and the audiences, the folks you're bringing together, that you just jumped in, you looked for where you could pivot, you're adapting as you go. I'm curious, through sort of your process of adaptation, of learning, where there may have been certain unforeseen challenges that you didn't anticipate, what maybe you learned from, and what you may have learned from them, as well as opportunities. Where has there maybe been something that surprised you that you were able to take a hold of and project more broadly? And I say this in the context of the pandemic, but also in response to the times that we're in right now, that we're feeling very strongly, where people are coming together in solidarity under, around really important issues in our society. I think both those contexts are extremely important and interrelated, interconnected in the work that we're doing. So just if each of you could take a minute to sort of, what surprised you that may have been a challenge you didn't anticipate that you learned from, or an opportunity. Is there someone who wants to jump in first? Cassiana, thank you.
Hi. Yeah, so it was very challenging in the beginning of the pandemic to adapt to not being able to gather or to meet in person as an organization that does community engagement and public engagement. And so we very quickly had to try and find or strategize around how to engage with our community, how to meet, how to strategize with community members and architects. And it's been a very interesting process because, in that process, we've had to determine what kind of online meeting platforms we prefer, and what the ideal length of an engagement would be online as opposed to what we would normally do in person, and how we can make things feel intimate and make people feel more engaged in an online setting, in an online space, and even thinking about accessibility and how we can make sure that things that we're doing, program that we're having, is accessible to people who may not have access to, internet, or who may not have a computer and may be doing things on their phones. And so that's been a very big pivot point for us.
I would add to Cass one positive of that though is that we can almost reach more people because of that, because of the internet, and people do have that access. So it has upped some of our engagement numbers for our community engagement meetings.
On our side, on the Quartier des Spectacles in Montreal, I think the most difficult was to play with some back and forth measures, meaning that even if we thought at the end of the summer that the pandemic would go down, and then we start to think about a way to put in place some animations and opportunities for people to meet again and out in outdoor activities. But then now, what I'm speaking to you, we have to reduce significantly the amount of people who are allowed to be together in the same place at the same moment, which is very difficult because it forces us to constantly review the plan we have. And despite the fact that everybody, including the creators, were working so fast, but now we have to put a step back compared to what we have in mind a week or 2 weeks ago, so we are moving fast, but we have to do back and forth, which is very difficult. But on the end of the opportunity side, which is very interesting, is that I think we create, not create, but we have been like doing a new kind of animation and performances on a pop-up mode, ephemeral mode, being very surprising for the people. So it gives to the area, to the neighborhood, another vocation, not only being there when you know there is something to happen or going for a special performance or venues, but also to be there because something always happens somewhere. So it's a surprising yourself, but at this, in the same place, you have the opportunity to be encouraging to come as you are, to come when you want, because there's always something happen. So that's something that we put strongly in the offer in order to say, hey, you know what? Even there is no businesses open there, and people are not working anymore in the downtown. They are working remotely to their home, but you can come during the weekend because there is something waiting for you. We cannot say what, we cannot say when, we cannot say where, but the promise is there will be something for you.
From our side, at first, we were like monitoring what was going on since the festival was taking place during May. We didn't know if we could be able to make it as we have planned it in advance. But as days were passing, we were looking at what authorities were like saying, and at first, all of the events like big festivals, concerts, a lot of cultural things that will happen before our festival were moving like to the end of the year, like to November, September, October. And at first we thought like probably that's a possibility for us. And we were looking with the artists, the bookers and everything, if we were able to move everything on the second half of the year. But since everything was moving to those dates, we thought like everything is gonna happen then. So probably people will not be able to even enjoy the festival. And also, we were somehow encouraged by our culture minister to come up with something that still keeps our festival during May, because it is also the name of our festival. So we were encouraged to somehow reinvent the festival. So we were talking with the artists that we will have presented during May, and many were willing to join on the new adventure, and so we decided to do it digital. We produced high quality video productions of contemporary circus companies, some like little interviews of painting artists, the dance companies from Quebec that will have participate in this festival, where we were able to share like the rights of transmitting their full performances of their works. It was like the first time, I think, that were like displayed that way. And we also had the participation of the pianist Lee Williams from United Kingdom. In that case, the company, the Rooster artist from that Lee Williams is part of, which is Rosewood Artists, were also willing to join on the adventure with us, and they offered to record from his home the 8 concerts of the 32 sonatas of Beethoven. So it was recorded at his home, and they sent us the video files so we can broadcast them. So I think it was such an interesting adventure, very funny, way different than we were used to, because we usually don't do that. We have all the presentations in many venues each year, like over 20 venues in the city, indoors, outdoors. This time we had to even come up with the solution of what technical requirements we will need to make this happen, because you cannot like stream the video from whatever computer you have by your hand. You have to have certain kind of computers and certain kind of Wi-Fi network and everything. So it was, I think we did our best, and I think the result, was truly something, and people love it. Also artists.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Augustine. It seems like with all of the 3 organizations really focusing on continuing to support artists during this time and creating as many opportunities for them as possible to continue doing their work, and connecting with community is really, really essential. That being said, also, I'm wondering, you know, from what you've done and what you've discovered, are there things that you've changed that you may continue to do, you know, I don't want to say post-COVID, because I feel like it's just no matter what, everything has changed and it will be different in the future moving forward, because we've learned so much from this situation. But I'm curious, you know, are there things that you guys have done now differently that you will continue to do, that you foresee doing? Will there be a digital component to the Festival de Mayo no matter what in the future? Will Quartier de Spectacle now organize their spaces in different ways during different times of years, you know, in ways they haven't done before? Will Sidewalk Detroit, will you continue to do more digital engagement through your engagement practices as another platform to reach folks, in addition to reaching folks on the ground? I'm sort of curious to hear, you know, if there's one thing you want to continue doing in the future out of all of this, what that is.
If I can talk about for the Quartier des Spectacles, for sure that when we are looking at how we engage artists on the local mode, meaning that before that we were doing some call for project, waiting for artists to respond and choose big project to be deployed and made in Quartier des Spectacles. I think now we want to be on more regular mode, meaning involving artists and creators along the way. Not only when we have something to ask for, but also creating an ongoing situation where we can receive new ideas and commit them into the view that we have for public spaces. So we will work this year on implementing some residency startup studios in order to create innovative environment for the creators and artists related to the way that we have to animate the public spaces. Especially if we anticipate that we know that we won't have any more, I mean, not anymore, but during the upcoming months, no events, big public events or concerts or festivals as we usually do on the Quartier des Spectacles. That's for the local. I think there is another thing that we have to think about is the way that we are working with international partners. Since now, I mean, we were developing a lot of installations, participative installations into the Quartier des Spectacles and touring them around the world and having some co-production partnerships with people and other organizations, such as some in North America, in Europe or Asia. But now, for sure, because we cannot travel so much, and it's very difficult to travel people and things, then we have to rethink the way we're going to collaborate, because there is something that we know for sure, that we won't be and come back behind our boundaries. We want still to engage relationship with people from foreign countries. We think that we cannot wait. We cannot work on minus mode and being isolated from each other. So this is something that we will now think a lot. It's how we maintain a collaboration with foreign partners, and what we will implicate for the future in terms of the way we produce and the way we make the installation circulating around the world.
Regarding Festival de Mayo, of course, we are not hoping next year to be a year where we can come back with the same format of our festival. We think that we still have to look for something different. Of course, we will keep this digital streaming of contents. We will produce something new for next year, and probably trying different venues for the recording of the videos, and put it on demand, like people can watch them whenever they want. But also, I think we will need to come up with something that will not gather people. I think next year will still be about probably some social distancing. So it's not about gathering people, but to make them flow, like they can go through something, through some happenings or something. So yeah, we probably will have to come up with something even funnier than this year.
I think both of our programs that we kind of redesigned this year, the online artist residency, where we commissioned artists. Also, we took our Eliza Howell Park programming. We brought that online. So we had yoga and African dance. We hired 3 different teachers. So now we have all of those classes online. You can view them at any time. So that was an interesting kind of switch. The online artist residency was interesting for us because everything was online and digital. So we've thought about, will we continue this? We don't know, but we thought it was successful. A lot of innovative programming kind of came from that. And then the mobile pop-up concert series was also really cool. And that brought a lot of joy to people's homes. It's like Detroit has a big porch. We have a big porch culture. So people were sitting on their porch, and even other neighbors that maybe hadn't heard that this was happening kind of came over and brought their chair. It was extremely well received. So that would be awesome if we could continue maybe doing something like that if we're still in the pandemic next summer. So we'll see.
Wonderful, thank you. I'm gonna ask another question. Is there advice that you could offer, that you would like to offer either the other folks on this call with us today or other folks in our audience who are maybe doing similar work or facing similar challenges right now? Should I pick on somebody or give you guys each another second to think?
for myself, I think the key is to be agile. I think it's not so much that I can say or about good advice, but I think that agility is key as we are in a moving situation and things are changing so rapidly. So I think that every organization such ours should think about how do they work not only in their organization but with the people outside, and we have to be very in this mindset of that maybe something you asked a week ago is not good anymore for today. So how do you work with that, with this constraint? And I think it's easy to say when we are a public funded organization and we have kind of stability on our operation, but it's very hard for creative companies and artists out there who don't have such help or funds coming in from on the regular basis. So we also have to be very empathic and thinking about how we can help them and support them along the way. That's something very difficult, but I think as public funded organization, we have to be close also to this reality.
I am not sure if I can come up with something really useful for everybody other than just be willingful to do something from your side. I think people kind of need what we do, and if we can do our best and offer like the best we can have, it will be useful for something, perhaps someone. So other than that, just keep focusing on what's coming and probably just take it from the better perspective.
I couldn't agree more with both of those pieces of advice. I'll continue to ask questions because it seems like we still have some more time. This is exciting. Yeah, that advice is really important. So really being able to be flexible, that agility is necessary, as well as the optimism and really keeping your eye on the target, and also continuing to support the relationships that make all of this work possible, right? There's something that I say at Mural Arts is that the work we do can only advance at the speed of our relationships, right? That this work is really about the people that we're doing the work with. And we've seen challenges in that, in maintaining those relationships. Guillaume, to your point, how do you maintain those international relationships and those collaborations when you have to rethink what they look like, right? What they look like right now, and you're not sure what they will look like in the future. You know, I think there has also been a lot of great opportunities for relationship building, where with everybody becoming more used to this digital world and digital relationship building, that we're able to bring more folks together from across the globe who maybe otherwise wouldn't have been in the room together, maybe not at this time, maybe later in the future. But there seems to be an urgency around people needing to stay connected while we can't be outside. Can't be together in a performance. We can be in this public space that we have now created for ourselves. I'm wondering, I guess, just if anybody wants to share sort of a hope for the future, or something that maybe you are dreaming of now. We're all creatives and producers that have maybe a new idea that has sparked through maybe this conversation, maybe just the work you've been doing recently. And then I'll let Adam sort of close things out with a poll for the audience. So any final remarks?
I'm not sure that's a hope, but what I found interesting, and you mentioned the international level, is that we are all facing same issues and challenging at the same time, everywhere on the planet. So for the very first time now, we have to align our objective, our constraints. And I think that's a unique opportunity to think differently, but all together. And that's why I think one key is to work on international level, not being isolated. And we have the chance here to be able to do that. You know, we are a small country, the province of Quebec, but thanks to the support of the people who are working with us, and I clearly think about the delegate here, who are doing a terrific job to maintain our relationship and our conversation open with partners outside. It's very important for us. It's a key of surviving. And also one thing that I see, which is make me very optimistic, is that despite the major crisis and the pandemic, all the projects we have initiated with partners outside of Quebec, the one on England and Europe, and some we are discussing with partners in North America, are still continuing, meaning that the people want to see after the crisis, after the pandemic, how do we can make it again with our creative partners. And that's something that encouraged me not to give up.
Yeah, I think I'm hearing what you're saying, and this kind of continuation of being innovative and reflective and continuing to kind of seek collaboration. So being on a panel like this, you know, I'm hoping that we can continue, even though we've only met each other this one time, but we can visit each other's spaces in the future and connect.
I can say that I am like very excited for what this sort of situation can make creatives to come up with. Like these sorts of phenomena sometimes works as boosters for creation. So I think a lot of people will probably work something on his mind and come up with something like really amazing or I don't know, way different. So I'm really looking forward to find that sort of creation and hopefully share it on our festival. Also, I would like to share another piece of works that Sergio, the General Director, said, and I think really apply on this one. He says, our work takes on a more important preponderant role since it will have the task of sensitizing the public about the issues that most urge the global concern, such as the health of the human being and the planet's sustainability, respect for human rights, and most importantly, how to leave a mark with our work. So I think that will be it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, everybody, and thanks, Netanel, for moderating. I'm launching a poll right now for everybody who is here and / with us today. It's interactive and meant to also be kind of challenging us to think about what does the future hold for public arts programming. So please participate real quick, look it over, and vote. Place your votes. Think of it kind of like American Idol used to be for those who used to tune in and vote. And I'll basically end the poll in just a few minutes, and I'll read off the responses of what people said, and then that'll be it. But in the meantime, as you kind of look it over, I just wanted to thank everybody again for participating today. Again, to Netanel for moderating from Philadelphia, to Augustin from Guadalajara from Festival de Mayo, to Cassin Augusta from Sidewalk Detroit, and Guillaume from Montreal, way up where it's almost winter probably. And then also thanks again to Karith and her team in Chicago for helping bringing everybody together. So thank you to everybody. Gracias and merci beaucoup. I'm just gonna wait probably like another 45 seconds here for the poll, and we'll basically read off where our audience, our live audience that is, thinks what the future of public art is and where it's headed. Just one more time to plug too, we have 4 more programs this week. 3 quick programs that are just 30 minutes long on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And then 1 final panel on Friday, kind of framing and bookend our week, which is a conversation with Jane Golton, the founder of Mural Arts Philadelphia. And so that will be really exciting. Okay, ending the poll, and just wanted to read off the questions and then close us out. When thinking about the future of art in public space, what opportunities do you think have the most untapped potential? The highest rated was a tie between experimenting with arts programming and outside public space during the winter months, and blended experiences that are offered both outdoors and online. So pretty interesting there. What types of public art experiences and programs are most of interest to you right now? Another tie with outdoor galleries / exhibitions and pop-up outdoor performances. And then lastly, people have attended or participated in arts experiences since March, which is really exciting to hear. And mostly 93% of our audience thinks that they will attend or participate in an arts experience in public space in the next 3 months, which is really exciting. So thank you all for your work in what you do to make art in public space happen. And a solo round of applause from me / all of our panelists for joining us today. Thanks again so much, and everybody have a great day no matter what country you're in, and please join us for the rest of the symposium this week. Thanks again.